Hey everybody, welcome to Seen and Heard.
Hey.
It's the podcast where two entertainment assistants normally go through the Sight and Sound top 100 greatest films of all time list. But this week, we're doing something a little bit differently. I know we had said on social media that we were going to do the first part of our Showa series this week. We were going to split the film, the 9.5-hour film Showa by Claude Lanzmann, up into two episodes, the first era and the second era. But at the last minute, we decided it would be better if we just did it in one big episode, you know, collecting our thoughts, containing them to one episode instead of spreading them out over two.
Yeah. I mean, it is 9.5 hours, but it pretty much follows, as we were watching, we realized like it kind of follows the same format throughout. And so it just made sense to do one episode.
Yeah, it's like a singular work. So instead of having no episode this week, because we do need time to finish Showa, we're just going to do a totally off-the-cuff kind of episode talking about the films we've seen, the 2023 films we've seen in theaters so far this year that we really liked, the ones we didn't like or whatever, and films in the second half of this year that we're excited for. So if you normally enjoy our like, what have you been watching segments at the beginning of each episode, then this episode is for you.
Yeah.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
I'm Greg.
I'm Jackie.
And yeah, we're just going to talk about 2023 films.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is not a plug for AMC, but we are using our A-list app
So annoying.
to see what we've seen this year so far.
So just last week, I saw two new movies.
Oh, what did you see?
I saw Sanctuary.
I don't even know. I don't think I know that one.
So I will tell you about it right now. It's by a director called Zachary Wiggin. I'm sure you've seen like the trailer. It's Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott from
Yes.
Girls.
Okay. Yes, I have seen the trailer.
It was really good.
Was
like,
it?
I actually really, really liked it.
Steamy, right?
Not really. Like you think it's gonna be because it's like a dominatrix movie. But it's more psychological and it's like a one-act play kind of. They're just in the hotel room. They do more talking than like steamy stuff, and that's like that's her whole thing is like it starts and she's like they don't touch each other, like that's not part of their deal, like it's mostly talking, which is really interesting. And it's full of twists and turns, and it's fun, it's funny, it's silly at times. It ends in a really silly kind of rom-com way, which I thought was charming. I highly recommend. I was really happy to see a movie like this in theaters because we don't get these kind of like middle. I mean, I don't know what the budget was. It doesn't seem like it can be that big. It was one room. It was just two people. I don't know. I just was delighted that such a movie was playing in movie theaters.
That's great.
Highly recommend. I had a great time. I saw that. And then I saw Past Lives.
Oh, how was that?
It was really good. This is by Celine Song. And it's so funny. Like, I went and saw it with a group of friends, and then I saw another friend, and like the general consensus seems to be that we were all expecting like Before Sunrise or that type of movie. But it's not that at all. It's way, way, way more dialed back and muted. And at first, like when I left, I was like, is this like a little too muted? I think it just like I said, I had this expectation, and then you go in and it's kind of something different. So I had to adjust a little bit. But overall, it's a very beautiful and delightful film.
That's high on my list. I really want to see it.
It's really nice. But like I expected to be sobbing, and I didn't. Like
right.
let me put it that way. Like we all thought we were going to be crying
From the trailer, right?
Yeah, the trailer made me cry, but the movie itself didn't make me cry.
That's fair.
It's more realistic. It's more grounded in realism than I expected.
But isn't also Before Sunrise?
Before Sunrise is grounded in realism, but I don't know. There's something about like when two people actually kiss and you're like, wow, now I'm committed. You know?
No, I like it better when they don't.
It depends. Like, and then there's In the Mood for Love, right? Which is like so longing and so like not physical at all. But the thing about Before Sunrise, I think, is like it's the goodbye. It's that goodbye, which is so physical and so like, and then you return to all the places that they went to. Like, I thought this was going to be that in New York City, like them talking, and then of course their childhood sweethearts. And I don't know, I still really liked it. Don't get me wrong. I think that it's great.
They should use that as a quote on the cover. I still really liked it. No,
I'd like to rewatch.
Just giving you a hard time. I need to see it.
No, I think you'd like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers several times now ahead of other films, and it's like, oh, that looks so good.
It's very beautiful.
Well, speaking of, so you saw Sanctuary for the same reason I saw this film last week. You Hurt My Feelings with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Tobias Menzies. Again, because the fact that you could go and see like a proper adult film in theaters about just like adults living their lives. I was like, I need to go support this movie. Plus, I love her. And I love, well, I want to say I love Tobias Menzies, but I like him. Outlander. He's a major creep. But yeah, it was okay. Actually, I didn't love it. If you don't know, the whole film just revolves around like they're both it's this like upper class New York existence, very reminiscent of like the Woody Allen films of the 70s. And she's this like author, and she finds out that her husband, who's like he's a therapist, like doesn't really like her new book, that she's having trouble like getting published. And that's literally the crisis of the movie. It's not even that their marriage is in danger. It's just like, oh, he doesn't really like the book. And then she kind of spirals from that. And I like both of them in it, but I just felt that it was just a little too like, why do I totally give a fuck? Like, she kind of makes a bigger deal of it than she should, in terms of like, she goes into this huge crisis mode. And he's like, look, I just told a white lie, like, so I wouldn't hurt your feelings. And it's all a little much. It's all a little much. It's a little privileged. But I didn't dislike it. And they're both good in it. The film is also pretty muted. And I feel like thinks it's sort of funnier than it actually is. I would still, if you've seen the trailer and you're intrigued by that, like, you're probably gonna like the movie, but it fell a little bit flat for me. And in times like that, like, I want like a Hannah and her sisters, or like, you know,
right.
But still, you know, it was worthwhile. Just kind of fell a little short. No,
it seems like we share that motivation to go see movies.
Like proper adults. Well, it's just like, like back.
Yeah. And I got really lucky last week seeing two great ones.
Yeah, that's
great.
But
it doesn't happen. Yeah.
That's why I rushed out to see Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Me
also.
too.
So it's like, oh, just like
that's for
coming of age.
Kind of.
It's a YA audience, yeah.
Yeah. I loved that movie.
I think I'm just so starved for films where people aren't in capes.
Yes, exactly.
But speaking of the capes, just a couple days ago, I did see the hot film that is now the highest ranked film on Letterboxd, which is Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
That's the number one? I thought it was like Everything Everywhere.
Well, now this has eclipsed it, because Letterboxd like just Instagrammed the other day about how this is their highest rated film.
This is so funny. I think we know what's going on here. I think we know the trend.
Yeah.
It's like, now it's people who are like, they need the action, but they also need the drama and the real life. I mean, I say real life in like quotes, but like the real actual family issues. And those movies that are doing both are like praised beyond all belief.
Exactly, because we saw it with Everything Everywhere. I think it's like people still want movies that feel like Marvel movies.
Exactly.
But they want them to be more inventive, and they want that emotional anchor.
And so the second a movie has that, they're like, this is revolutionary.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, we've talked at length about Everything Everywhere over the last year of this show, but for Spider-Man, did you see the first one?
I like it.
Yeah. So 2018, fun. I think it was called Into the Spider-Verse, which is Sony Animation. It's like not Marvel Studios. It's Sony.
Right.
I liked it too. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was everything that people had cracked it up to be, but I thought it was a breath of fresh air. I thought like the animation, if anything, like it's a great show of like animation kind of making a comeback. Mm-hmm. And on top of that too, the animation, while mostly computer animated, incorporated like a lot of different styles. There's like hand-drawn animation stuff in there. And I think if anything, it's like showing people that animation is not a genre, it's a medium, and you can use it in really inventive ways. And I think too, like these movies are made for a fraction of the cost of like even Pixar films, but also like a fraction of the cost it would take to do it live action. You know, like in animation, you can do anything. That's the cool thing about animation. Anything you can imagine, you can draw. In a film, well, it's different now because there's CG, but still, you have to like make it look real, and like it costs much more money. So I did see the new one, Across the Spider-Verse, this last week, and I felt the same way I felt about the first one. I thought it was good. I thought it was at 2.5 hours was a touch too long. That's long. And I thought, and also, I think the stuff that works in it works really well, but then there were legitimate stretches where I was starting to lose focus. Like honestly, it was like during the emotional beats. It was during the emotional beats because they were very routine. And like on one hand, I applaud the film for even attempting to get deeper, but also like it did the deep stuff in just such a cliche way that like I was starting to get bored in stretches, but then something really incredible would happen. And it does have a great sense of imagination, and it is beautiful to look at, but like 2.5 hours, and it ends on a cliffhanger. And you're like, okay, so I just sat through 2.5 hours only to literally end on a cliffhanger for a film that comes out next year. Mm-hmm. It was like, I liked it, but yes, it should not be the highest rated film on Letterboxd.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Are you going to see it?
I don't know. I really don't know. I could wait until it's somewhere. But then again, I should probably... I'm not interested. That's... Can I... If I can just be completely honest.
Yeah, and
I'm
you can.
just not interested in anything that has to do with superheroes.
I think you know what to expect too because you've seen the first one.
Exactly. I like it. It's fun. I'll watch it with my kids one day, sure. But like, am I going to go to a theater and watch 2.5 hours of it? Probably not. That's just not who I am. Like,
yeah.
I don't like action. I don't like Marvel. That's it.
Well, the thing too is like, I think that these movies, the way that people have responded to them, they almost promise that they're not going to be like superhero movies. I remember especially with the first Spider-Verse movie, it felt like the first half of it was kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
And I was really into that. And then it
too.
Literally just becomes a superhero movie. And you're like, oh, we're now going through the motions. And that's how I felt about the new one too. Of like, I could give two shits about fucking superhero movies at this point. I'm so fucking bored of them. I'm over them. I avoid them. And so like, yes, this one has a lot of invention and it looks great and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's still a superhero movie.
I know.
I swear, people are into this it's the multiverse thing. They're like, bro, what if like you could just pull things from like a million other universes?
And I will say, I just said, like, I don't like superhero movies. Obviously, there are exceptions. The original Spider-Man films by Sam Raimi, I love.
Yeah, I did rewatch those recently.
Like, I'll watch those any day.
They're good, but they weren't as good as I remembered.
No, but, like, I genuinely have such an emotional attachment to those. Love those.
Yeah, because you were, like,
pretty
perfect age when those came out, right?
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Like, I like Dark Knight. I like Dark Knight Rises.
I don't care about it.
That's pretty much it. Okay, I used to be into X-Men a lot. I just got over it.
You know what? I like the X-Men movies.
So do I. Yeah. But now I'm just like, I didn't even see the last one. What was the last one?
Dark Phoenix?
Jessica Chastain is in it?
You should thank God you didn't see it.
I didn't see it because I already knew. I'm like, okay, I'm past this point now. And I know that the movies are past this point now.
Right.
So like, there's no reason for me to go and try.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sounds really cynical or what.
No. I mean, it just, again, it plays into the fatigue we're having right now. Superhero movies. And no, I agree. I think the X-Men movies, those were kind of the exception to me. I always liked those.
I always liked them a lot.
Even the like the quote unquote bad ones, like X-Men Apocalypse, I remember got a lot of shit. I thought it was fun. But yeah, totally.
But like Days of Future Past, I love.
Days of Future Past is so good. What? And First Class.
First Class is great.
Yeah. I agree. Great cast.
Exactly.
Michael
like those
Fassbender.
Because they're real actors.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they're given their moment too. I feel like unlike Marvel stuff, because that's Fox. I think that was Fox.
I think so.
So like they feel more like real movies. Like not every X-Men movie is like the fate of the Earth is like its sake. It's like sometimes small. The first X-Men is like a very small. It's like an hour and 40 minutes or something. It's a very like small scale thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I feel like we should talk about a little current events here
it.
because it's related to Marvel through Disney. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a little fit I had the other day because it has been leaked that Disney, who now owns 20th Century Fox, they have for like a couple years now. It's now just called Fox or Fox Studios or something. Fox, I forget. They have been cutting films from the Fox catalog, and because they own the films, they're the ones that make the films available. The films are now just like permanently censored. So it came to light the other day that Disney had cut some racist dialogue out of The French Connection, William Friedkin's 1971 classic and Best Picture winner. And when I heard this, and I already, look, we're not here to talk complete trash about people, but, Disney, I think Disney's one of the great enemies of our generation to filmmaking and filmmakers and film history. And I think...
But the Disney of our generation.
You mean the one we grew up with?
I mean, when we were growing up, it was like the Renaissance, and I was happy.
No, it was
that's
great.
Good.
Yeah,
I mean, like now.
Yeah, for like the last 15 years,
Sure.
they've been like the number one enemy to film, to cinema.
I'll allow it.
Because I'm so conflicted, because we both love the park. We know that. We've talked about Disneyland so much on this show, but and I love the old Disney films. I love them and I still watch them.
So do I, all the time.
But I'm so conflicted because I love some stuff that they've done, but I think recently, it's just capitalism at its worst of how did we allow one company to get so much control? Anyway, I'm going off the rails here, but they've edited The French Connection. And it was a big deal because Criterion just advertised we have the French Connection streaming on our channel. And then people saw that it was censored. And so people were getting mad at Criterion, but then it became a bigger thing of no, that's what Disney supplied them with. I still think Criterion is kind of Criterion's whole mission statement is anti-censorship and film purity. So they shouldn't even, if they can only get the censored version, they shouldn't even put the movie on the channel, I think. But it's Disney's problem, right? Disney's done it. And the worst part about this is if you go see it theatrically, not on a film print, right? If you go to the New Beverly, it's a 35 millimeter print. That's going to be the unedited version. But if you go see it theatrically, it's on a DCP, it's going to be censored. So it's not... Every copy of the film that Disney has provided is now censored. And what is so infuriating about it is that Disney now thinks they're the moral center of society. And they didn't tell anyone about it. They just did it silently. And
that's what I'm saying. How did people realize?
Because I haven't seen the new version yet, but apparently it's either just muted when he says a couple things or it's actually cut out. And it's a beloved film, again, that changed American movies and one of the key films of the new Hollywood. And a masterpiece. And what kills me about it, it's one thing when Disney censors their own films, on Disney Plus, we're going to cut this problematic part out of Fantasia or whatever. It's still annoying because censorship in any form is just, that's not what, we pride ourselves as Americans of freedom of speech, right? And everything has a historical context. And I think what Disney's done with The French Connection is they've taken a Fox film, an R-rated film for adults, and they've treated everyone like children. And I think what's infuriating about it is have you seen The French Connection?
I actually haven't seen it.
Popeye Doyle, the character that Gene Hackman plays in the movie, is a piece of shit racist cop. That's literally the character. He's disgusting. You're not supposed to like him. That's all part of the character.
Right.
So now when you cut that stuff out, we're losing texture to the movie. We're losing nuance. And it's an R-rated film.
Yeah, and it's just interesting, why can't the bad guys be bad? I don't know.
Yes.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. And yes, of that time and now, there's a lot of terrible cops out there that are racist and piece of shit. And it's this movie's bringing that to light. And then it gets censored by Disney, of all people.
I know, that's so annoying.
Disney censored William Friedkin. William Friedkin also made The Exorcist and Sorcerer and Cruising. Prolific filmmaker, is most well known for French Connection and The Exorcist. But he's one of the greats, and Disney is literally censoring him without his input, without anything.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's infuriating.
That just happened this last week, so that's been on my mind.
I was gonna watch. I literally was gonna watch it last week, I didn't know about this.
Well, you know what's funny is
I
now
saw it on the channel.
you can borrow the Blu-ray. Borrow the
Okay,
Blu-ray
I will.
because the Blu-ray is uncut. And again, this is another plug for physical media. When you own a movie, and I don't mean this to sound all Second Amendment-y of like, you can't take my movies from me. But like, as someone who so firmly believes in artistic expression and preserving film history in its purest form, like, no, a movie should never be cut after the fact unless someone was like harmed in the making of the movie, or, you know, like that's an exception. But like someone saying words of like, yes, they're terrible words, but it's illustrative of his character.
Yeah.
That is completely unacceptable. And I think it represents a very slippery slope into censorship that we're going to see. And again,
well, you said someone was hurt. Like,
no,
that's where you draw the line. It's like, if someone was hurt, then you're okay with the film being cut. Like, I think it's important to like, and I know now I sound like Disney because they do this now with their stuff. It's like, you can't watch when you watch Peter Pan on Disney Plus, there's like a historical context bit.
but that I'm okay with.
That's fine. Yeah. Like, don't touch the movie.
Yeah.
But like, I want to know more about someone being hurt.
Well, I'm just saying, let's say we found a film from, you know, the 60s or 70s and like a kid was abused in it, or like, you know,
Abused during the making of it, or
Yeah.
on camera.
See, it does get into a whole tricky thing.
Yeah.
Right? All I'm saying is there's levels of like films that you can re-examine if something really heinous happened during the making of the film. But to have a film that is literally just telling a story, it's like, it's just completely unacceptable. And again, I think, you know, look, like the UK is known for being kind of a stricter country in terms of like, they have a whole censored list of films you cannot even watch. It's illegal to watch certain movies.
That's crazy.
In the UK. But it was by their government that did it. In the US, our government says it's fine, but Disney is telling us it's not okay.
Yeah.
And when we get into that territory, that's scary. Like, that's scary. People were scared in the 90s that Ted Turner was like colorizing all these black and white films. This compared to that, are you kidding me?
Colorizing black and white is horrible too.
But the black and white versions were still available.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is Disney literally changing films without saying anything, not even their own films, other people's films.
Yeah.
And being like, this is the only version you have.
And like
now.
adult films.
Adult R-rated films.
Yeah.
It's scary, Jackie.
I know.
It's times like these that like as a lover and student of film and like, you know, I'm so scared. Like,
yeah.
So
I find myself leaning more and more away from American movies.
yes.
Like I watch, I feel like this sounds like so pretentious, but I genuinely do enjoy movies that are not American.
More. Yeah. Well, look at if you listen to our episode on our favorite films from 2022, I feel like off the top of my head, most of those films are not American movies.
I had Tar.
There's a few, yeah.
Well,
I had
After
Top
Sun
Gun.
is not an American movie. After Sun is a Scottish production.
Right. I feel like Banshees also.
Yes. Yeah.
Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah.
Non-American movies.
EO.
EO, exactly.
And so like when I hear this stuff, I'm just like, it's America. Like we have like a plentiful, and but I understand like American film history is so important. And then I also think about like, it is one of the only like pure American cultural things is like Hollywood, but then other people do it so much better. So I'm like, I don't know. I find myself like, I'm not emotionally attached to like American, but then I am to like
You
classic.
mean the current state of American movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no hope for it.
Right.
At all. Like if I could just move to France, that would be cool.
Like Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah. I mean, I choose to be optimistic in this of like, I think everything has its time and everything's kind of cyclical. So we're seeing stuff kind of get censored right now. We're seeing big American movies being suffocated by Marvel and stuff. But I do think, you know, you already see Marvel fatigue. I just read an article the other day about how Marvel has a chokehold on American films and like how people are sick of them and how the quality is bad and whatever. People are getting sick of that stuff, and I think it's all going to fall away, and we are going to have this like new renaissance. I
That
think
would
because
be really
we're so
nice.
overdue for one. You know, I think it's been the 90s. Like in the 90s, we had the American independent movement with like Steven Soderbergh and Tarantino, and the Coens all kind of came in.
Yeah.
And I think we're overdue for like another period of like, people are sick of these like $300 million movies, which by the way look like shit. Like the CG in these movies looks terrible, and you're like, wait, that movie cost $300 million.
Did we talk about Little Mermaid?
Oh
Did you
no,
see it?
I didn't see it. You saw it though.
I saw it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And
I can't tell if I already said that. Did I say this on our last?
you know what? You said it to me when we were going to see King of Comedy.
But we didn't. I didn't.
It wasn't
say
on the show.
It wasn't on the show. Yeah, it's like when you walk into Best Buy and all the TVs are there and they're playing like underwater sea turtles. Like that is what this movie is. And it's like, here you go, kids. Here's Little Mermaid. And it's like, no, that's not Little Mermaid, actually. Like, and she like is incredible, beautiful voice. But it's just sad that like kids these days are subject to, the underwater scenes were just ridiculous to me. Like up top, yeah, whatever, it's fine. But like underwater, we're literally just watching fish talk. There's no hot crustacean band. There's
They try to make it more realistic, right?
There's no life in the underwater scenes, and it like kind of broke my heart. Like an actual shark just comes and like attacks her, and I'm like, okay, like I don't need to see like a real shark attack her. Do you know what I mean? And like Flounder's there and he's literally just a fish. And then Scuttle, who is a bird, spends like 5 minutes of the movie underwater just talking. And then she's like, okay, girl, gotta go up and get air. And like she goes. And I'm like, this bird was just underwater talking, breathing for 5 minutes. No one noticed anything. And you guys are all about realism. Like I'm just confused.
The whole business model is very confusing.
And it's why I didn't see Lion King either. I guess it's the ones that have animals in it that are really like particularly bad.
I did see that one.
Because it's literally just, how do you make live action animals? It's just animals. And I don't want that. I want life.
Yeah.
It was so soulless. Like the scenes underwater were very, very, very soulless. And oh my God, Poor Unfortunate Souls was atrocious. And that's one of the best songs. Part of Your World was good because it's just her singing. She has an incredible voice. There's no other fish around. That was good. But Poor Unfortunate Souls was... And Poor Unfortunate Souls, I think I was telling you, they got rid of the body language verse, which is like the best part of the song.
It's Disney.
And exactly. And it's like they can't have any indication that these people have sexual hormones.
Yeah.
Not a trace. Can't do it. She can't want to have to kiss him. Like, that's it. And I lost it a little bit.
Let's not forget that this is the same company that like 10 years ago when Coco came out tried to trademark the holiday of Dia de los Muertos.
That's horrible.
Like this same company is now telling us what we should and shouldn't see.
Yes, I know.
It's heinous.
And yeah, like the body language verse, it's like, that's the whole point. It's like it's Ursula being like a villain.
Yes.
And telling her like, yo, you could just use your body. Like she's the bad guy. She can say things like that. You know what I mean?
I know there's a bunch of controversy too over Ursula's makeup in the film. Have you heard any of that?
I don't know. I haven't.
Because, like, famously, Ursula's based off Divine, and we have an episode on Pink Flamingos if you're interested. And so she's supposed to look like a drag queen.
Yeah.
And her makeup in this, and I've seen photos, is so reserved and like minimal. And it's like, no, they should have gone further with it. And it's just Disney kind of afraid. They're always like, no, guys, we're super progressive. See. But then they're like, they're really afraid to actually do it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
You're so right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then like I went to Little Mermaid and like there was all these kids and they were all so excited and everyone was clapping after every song.
Oh.
But like I said, like the songs are good. There's nothing wrong with the songs, but I just felt like it was Disney prostituting like some of the best Alan Menken work ever into this CGI screensaver, essentially.
Well,
That's what it was.
I think the word prostitution holds a lot of water for Disney because that's exactly what they've been doing for the last 10 plus.
Yeah,
10,
they're doing it
years.
with all the classics, like literally.
The business model of, because when we grew up with Disney in the 90s and even into the early 2000s, it was like, let's make original films, right? And that's how we have all those classics. Like, yeah, they're all based on old fairy tales. Like, I think Little Mermaid is Hans Christian Andersen and whatever, but like, it was their own spin on it and original music and whatever.
Yes.
And now the model, and it's not just Disney, but Disney kind of perpetrated this of like, let's just take stuff that's already successful.
Yeah. IP.
Not put any effort into some kind of adaptation, not change it. It would be one thing if they were doing all new things with it, but it's literally just make it look more realistic.
Yeah.
Let's just make it look photorealistic.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, these were designed as cartoons.
Yes.
And that doesn't necessarily translate. That's how I felt about the Lion
No.
King one, which I did see. But it's like, no, that's not. It's such a low effort business model of like, here, we put it out and people are going to see it and we're just making the money.
That's the thing. They do.
It's really sad. Although Little Mermaid, I'm seeing right now, is having trouble overseas. Like overseas, it's falling like really short at the box office. But yeah, when are they going to learn? They can't just keep doing it. It's not a sustainable business model. Honestly, it's just really insulting. And I feel bad for kids of today.
I felt bad for the kids there. I'm like, you
these
guys
are their
have no
movies.
idea what you're missing.
Yeah.
Like, you should all go see the first Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It really, I set myself up for that one though. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Hailey Bailey and she's incredible. And that's why I wanted to go see it. And I don't know.
Well, at the risk of this episode being dedicated entirely to
Little
Disney,
Mermaid, yeah.
well, Disney bashing. Okay, so if you were to say off the top of your head, I know it's only been, we're like mid-June right now, not even quite mid, but what would you say your just couple favorite movies so far this year have been?
So 1001 was incredible. I think that's probably up there. Past Lives was really good. So was Sanctuary. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I saw Return to Seoul in 2023, but it came out last year. Or was, I mean, no, it came out. See, it's so confusing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't have that much. Honestly, the only film I've seen so far this year, the only new film I saw that I really liked was Showing Up.
Showing Up,
Kelly
yes, I
Reichardt
forgot
movie.
Showing Up.
Other than that, because I'm looking at my letterbox and
It's bleak.
I mean, I liked Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
So did I.
Enough.
It's
It's not
fun.
going to make my list at the end of the year, I don't think. But like, you know, and I liked Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, like enough. I thought it was fine. I thought Beau Was Afraid was kind of middle of the road. I actively disliked the Super Mario Brothers movie and Evil Dead Rise, which kind of got some attention.
You've seen more movies than me.
Well, I seem to have seen like the bigger ones and you've seen the actual good ones. I've seen kind of like the big tentpole stuff.
Are you
for
going
the
to
most part.
see X5? Oh, no. It's not X5.
It's
X11?
10. Wait, is it 11?
I don't know.
Okay, listen. I keep being told that the Fast and Furious movies are a lot of fun, and I have not seen a single one of them, but they do look thoroughly ridiculous in a fun way. And so many of my friends are like, Greg, you're gonna love them. Like, you just got to sit down and do it. Each movie gets more and more ridiculous. They're so much fun. So, like, in all fairness, you know, maybe they're great. I don't know. I haven't seen them. Are you gonna see it?
No. The last Fast and Furious movie I saw was Tokyo Drift, which is like the third one.
It is the third one. That one came out when I worked at a movie theater. So I think I saw like 5 minutes of that on my break.
It was fun. It had a catchy song. We were all into it.
What was the song?
It's like Fast and Furious. You know that song?
No.
No? Oh, it was, yeah. It was fun. I think the song is just called Tokyo Drift.
Who did it?
I don't remember. We did see Titanic 25th anniversary.
We did.
At AMC. And that was really fun.
Yes.
That was one of my AMC highlights this year. As was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes.
That was an AMC highlight. Why is this the AMC episode?
Because we're looking through our AMC A-list
Crouching
history.
Tiger was so good.
Yes. Yes. That was a first time watch for both of us, and we went to see it in theaters. February 21st
so
at
good.
1 p.m. That's exactly when we saw it.
Nice.
Yes. Yes. It was great. It was so good.
I mean, that's not news, but
But it just makes you sad. I mentioned this after we saw Titanic on whatever episode we recorded right after that. But I said that, like, the movie made me sad for moviegoers
Yeah.
of today, because like that's what a big blockbuster looked like in 1997.
Yeah.
And now what do we have? We have
We don't have
Disney slapping shit together and throwing it on an assembly line.
Yeah.
Sad. Well, what are you looking forward to? So we do have like the second half of this year is pretty loaded in terms of like movie releases. So is there anything specifically that you have your eye on?
Yes, I do. Hold on. So obviously Barbie, obviously
Yes.
Asteroid City.
Yes.
There's also the new what is it called? The Yorgos Lanthimos movie?
Poor Things.
Poor Things.
Yes, that looks really
the trailer came
good.
out today.
Yeah.
So like those movies excite me a lot. All three of those, I'm super pumped. Like, yes, I want to say Oppenheimer, but
Are you going to see it?
probably
Yeah, I'm going to see
the
it.
new Scorsese. Like, we have a lot to be excited
The
for.
new Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, we have a lot to be excited for, I think.
Yes, that's probably my number one most excited. Like,
That could be our big blockbuster is Killers of the Flower Moon.
yeah,
Like, that could be our Titanic,
I think
possibly.
it's like the same runtime as Titanic, I think. if
Possibly.
not longer.
Possibly. That's pretty much it. That, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
There's like a few movies out of Cannes that I want to see, but they're like smaller. There's that movie May December by Todd Haynes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, with Natalie
anything
Portman.
Todd Haynes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore. It looks really good. There's the Jonathan Glazer movie.
Oh, the Jonathan Glazer
Zone of
movie.
Interest.
Oh my god. See,
You're so excited.
I forgot about
What
those.
the hell?
Well, because like Todd Haynes and Jonathan Glazer are filmmakers.
They're
We're like,
great.
regardless of what they do, I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be sitting in the theater. Like I'm gonna see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and those both sound incredible too.
Yeah. So that's like for me what I'm
Nice.
looking for.
Everything you
What
mentioned
else?
is on my list.
Oh, I'm really excited to see Maestro, which
Oh,
is the Leonard Bernstein movie by Bradley Cooper,
right,
also starring Bradley Cooper
right.
and Carey Mulligan.
Is there even a trailer for that?
There is not,
Okay.
but it's coming out in November.
Yeah, that looks interesting. It looks interesting.
It does indeed. It's going to be, well, it's a Netflix movie, but it's also going to have a theatrical release because they're going for Oscars.
Right.
And you have to.
Yeah, it'll play at the Egyptian here, which Netflix now owns. Everything you just mentioned, I'm looking forward to. Also,
It looks hopeful.
yeah, and Oppenheimer. I remember last summer, so summer of 2022, being in a theater, and there was already a cardboard standee for Oppenheimer, and there was a digital clock,
Countdown.
and it was like 365 days. And I started laughing. 'Cause it's like only Christopher Nolan could put some dumb standee in a movie theater, and people are like, oh my god, only 365 days. But like, you know what? I've talked some trash about Christopher Nolan, and I think I had an epiphany recently where like I do think he's responsible for like honestly the Disney stuff of like taking the animated cartoons and making them more real and serious, and like that's what he did to Batman. And I realized recently though that I don't dislike Christopher Nolan, I just don't like his Batman movies. Like I think
Okay,
because I'm a big 90s Batman person, because we just rewatched The Prestige a week or two ago. I hadn't seen it in a long time. It was good.
It is good.
And then like we've only seen it once. We've only seen it in theaters when it came out, but like we still talk about Interstellar.
I
Like,
think
we're always like,
Interstellar is
oh.
really good.
So like I realized, and I always like have these exceptions, like oh, but I like Dunkirk. Oh, but I like Inception. I'm like, oh wait, I like his
them.
career outside of the Dark Knight movies.
Okay, then there you go.
Not all of them though. Not all of them.
So
I don't.
yeah, I plan to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So
I still haven't seen his last movie,
me
Tenet.
neither, and I don't really plan to.
I've heard only bad things.
I don't know. I've heard a mix, but it's just the general consensus is just it's so confusing that it's really hard
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah. I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
I know Paul Thomas Anderson is, I believe, last I heard, I think he's in production right now on a new film,
Cool.
which I don't think we would see by the end of the year, but it's possible they would try to get it in before, like in Oscar time. But I feel like his films usually take a little longer in post.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to see it by the end of this year or we're going to see it next year. But we do have a new PTA movie coming in
When's
the pipeline.
the new Tarantino movie?
I don't think they've announced production, but it's happening. It's called The Movie Critic. And
Okay, I was so confused because everyone was like, it's about Pauline Kael. And then he's like, it's not about Pauline Kael. But still, in my mind, I thought it was a woman.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a man.
wait, I thought it was a woman.
No, I think it's a man. Last I heard, he was like, I'm trying to find like my next movie star, like to play. And people were like sending all these men, like people were posting like all these up and coming actors.
It says it goes into pre-production in June, so it's probably in pre-production right now. Maybe it is. Maybe it is a man. It just says actor.
Like he's looking for his actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. In quotes, based on a guy who really lived but was never really famous, and he used to write movie reviews for a porno rag.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
In my mind, I just thought it was like about a woman, and I got excited because I love, like, I'm a big Kill Bill person. Like, I love Kill Bill. Like, she's a superhero in my eyes. Like, I actually really like when Quentin Tarantino does women.
Badass women.
Yeah.
Or like Shoshana.
Shoshana is like
Inglourious
one of my
Basterds.
heroes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm considering naming my child after Shoshana.
Or Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. I was just going to say Jackie Brown. Like, those three heroes are like I love when he does that.
Yeah.
And I was expecting kind of something like that. So I was a little bummed, but it's okay.
Yeah, why did we all think it was going to be a woman?
Because he said like it's kind of like Pauline Kael.
Or people just assumed or something.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'll take some of it.
No,
I know
I'm sure it'll
he's
be
a
good.
big Pauline fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who isn't?
You know, it's so funny, totally unrelated to the podcast, but my friend and neighbor was watching a show recently and he realized it was garbage and he sent me a text and just was like, he's like, God, this show sucks. And he's like, sometimes I miss that we don't have a Pauline Kael today to just rip stuff to pieces.
Yeah.
We are missing that like hypercritical, you know,
Okay.
sort of
Yes.
raise the bar.
This is really off topic, but I used to be a big fan of Joan Rivers. Like after every award show,
Vicious.
watching so vicious. Like I want that back. Like that was like the highlight of award season for me, was to watch like what was it even called?
I don't remember.
The show. I don't even remember what the show was called, but like we ate that up.
Yeah.
Like
Well, no,
I missed that.
I think it's all
connected. It's all this sterile. We're creating a very sterile society.
Yeah, well, we are, and I've read plenty of articles about how sexless Hollywood movies are now, and like that's all true. It's really weird.
And I'm not as I feel bad that when I was talking about past lives, I mentioned like, oh, you know, like if a couple kisses, like I'm more invested. That's not the case.
No,
like,
we know.
But also in Before Sunset, they genuinely talk about so many vast topics and like get really deep, and like they don't do that in Past Lives, and that's all I meant by that.
I
like,
see.
Anyway,
You're like, I wanted him to take his shirt off.
no, I didn't though.
Just kidding,
like
I'm
that's not what
kidding.
I'm saying.
I know, I'm just razzing you.
But yes, sterile.
Yeah, it's sterile. Exactly, sterile. Well, I think too the key with Joan Rivers. Well, Joan Rivers, I think too, because she was a comedian, like people knew it was kind of like all a joke.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing truly mean.
But
I
here's
feel
the
like
thing, I'm not saying I don't want to bring back those like asshole comedians. Like I don't like that necessarily.
Lenny Bruce. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, I know what you're saying. I mean, we need to set a higher bar for ourselves. And I think what Pauline did in her day was raise the bar, and she expected a certain standard of excellence, you know, from films.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to demand that.
Yes. When I say like a sterile society, I just mean like I'm aware that like we're doing this. I don't know. I do want a better future for like my children, and I do want a safer place, and I do want a safer environment where everyone can be themselves. But I also don't want, like, it's such a weird balance, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of where everyone's coming from, but we're doing it in a way where we're forgetting that like there's still integrity, you know, and there should still be integrity.
Yes.
That's all I want.
We've lost integrity completely.
That's all I want.
Yes. Agreed.
Anyway. What? How did we get here?
Through a labyrinth of topics. I'll say, though, just to add a couple movies. Actually, I only have one movie to add to your list because every movie you mentioned, I'm also looking forward to. I think literally every single one. I'm most excited for the Scorsese film, Killers of the Flower Moon, because the trailer's great and because at Cannes the reception was like overwhelmingly positive.
Great.
And again, just like Scorsese's like 80, and the fact that he's out there and he's pushing ahead and he's doing things he hasn't done yet, and he's making important films, relevant films, and he's still making like quality work makes me so happy.
I know.
It makes me feel so lucky that we do have someone like Scorsese out there still doing his thing, you know? Barbie, yes, excited for all those. Asteroid City, if you heard any of our episodes, I think when we like first started this show in December of 2021, I talked a lot of trash about Wes Anderson's last film, The French Dispatch, which I genuinely hated. I thought I wanted to walk out of that one. This one I've heard, Asteroid City, immediately the trailer caught me, the poster caught me, and I've heard that it's like his best in like a decade or something. So like I'm very excited for Asteroid City, which is like a week. I think I have tickets to see it next week, so it's coming up very soon. But the big one for me that I wouldn't say I'm excited for, but like I have to go see, is the 5th Indiana Jones film.
Oh yeah,
Dial
I forgot to
of
mention
Destiny. Well, because you're not excited for it, are you?
No.
Yeah. I just have to, because I'm such a, you know, the first 2 movies especially mean so much to me that like I have to go. And I think up until it played at Cannes, I was very optimistic. A lot of people around me were like naysayers and like, oh, it's going to suck like Disney, whatever, Kathleen Kennedy. And I was like, no, just give it a chance, give it a chance. And then the reception at Cannes.
Crystal Skull?
Well, it's funny.
Wait, what are we
Dial of Destiny.
Oh, okay.
Crystal Skull came out in 2008. I was there for that,
Wow, that
midnight
was
show.
2008?
I was at the midnight
I
show.
remember that.
I remember seeing the movie at midnight, and it was over, and some guy, as soon as the credits started rolling, in the row behind me was like, well, that was a waste. And then I got mad. I was like, keep it to yourself. And he's like, I'm sorry. And like I like thought I liked the movie for a second, and then I went back to see it again. And I realized that it was complete dog shit. But this new one, we've been like, my sister and I, who are big indie fans, we've been like, okay, as long as it's better than Crystal Skull, like it'll be good. And apparently out of the reception from Cannes is like, actually, we should be thankful that we had Crystal Skull. And I was like, oh, fuck. So it's worse. Okay, cool. So I'm still going to go. I know it's going to be bad. It's like almost 3 hours long, which goes against the whole idea of Indiana Jones. Literally, Raiders of the Lost Ark was Spielberg reining it in. He had done Close Encounters, he had done Jaws, and he flopped with 1941, which was this big production like war comedy with like Toshiro Mifune in it and stuff, and like John Belushi. Big flop. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna make a movie cheaper, dirtier, faster, you know, just get in there and just make a movie. And that was Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it was born from this like lean and efficient thing. And I feel like this new Indiana Jones costing $300 million.
Wow.
And being packed to the brim with shitty looking CG. And
the
like
de-aging doesn't look too bad.
Well, this de-aging doesn't look terrible. It's still like the technology's not there. And I think, but him like on a horse, and you could tell he's not actually riding the horse. It's like,
in the
okay,
subway?
Yeah, so it's like, okay, then maybe don't write a scene where he's riding this horse in a subway if it can't look real. But the fact that it's like 3 hours long and it has such a bloated sense of like self-importance. Now, again, I haven't seen the movie yet. Maybe it's a masterpiece. I don't know. But like it goes against the whole nature of what this series is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it just infuriates me.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna see it. Like opening night.
I'll see it. I'll definitely see it. I actually want to rewatch because I haven't sat and watched the Indiana Jones movies in so long.
They're so good.
I'm really excited.
But yeah. So that's kind of what we have coming up. And again, too, like movies kind of sneak in there sometimes. Like sometimes you don't.
Of course.
Like so Joel Cohen did the Macbeth film, but I think Ethan Cohen's doing a movie that comes out this year.
There's something brewing.
Okay, yeah. Ethan Cohen has a movie coming out. It looks like this year that he co-wrote and directed, called Drive Away Dolls, and it has Pedro Pascal, Margaret Qualley, Matt Damon. Yeah.
Fun.
Beanie Feldstein is in it.
Aww.
So yeah, that looks like it says it's in post and it's supposed to come out in 2023.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll be there.
So you always have stuff that kind of slips in, you know, and especially stuff from other countries will get like, you won't even know about it. And then it'll just be like, hey, there's this great movie from,
Yeah.
Argentina that you haven't heard about until now. And it's supposed to be incredible. Here you go.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit. Okay, cool. So like some of that stuff will slip in.
But I feel like this year has more summer blockbusters than recent memory.
Wait,
Like,
we
what
haven't
was-
even mentioned because we don't see the superhero stuff. But yeah, like what just came out? Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, but I just mean like Barbie is
Oh,
like
sure.
being sold as this like big summer blockbuster. So is Oppenheimer and so is Indiana Jones.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are like 3 biggies. And what was last year?
I
I don't
mean,
even know.
there was like Top Gun.
That was like, yeah. Was James Bond last year?
That was the year before.
Oh,
Did you ever see that one? No Time to Die?
you liked it, right?
Yeah, it's good.
See, even with James Bond, I'm like, I'm not that into it.
That's fine.
Oh, I'm just not into like running and shooting and.
I like it when it's done well. I think with the Bond movies, like I grew up with them, but also they're rooted in tradition of like it's inherently British. It still is British. It's been going for like 60 years at this point, and it's like a tradition. It's like a cultural thing. And
just cool.
you know what? Credit to the Bond producers. And I generally like, the new Bond movies and stuff, but like they take their time. Each film comes out like it's like a 5-year gap between each film because they want to get it right.
Right.
Whereas like Marvel is like the complete opposite model. It's like respect to them, like taking their time and like making you actually miss the Bond movies before coming back with one.
Right.
So yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think we have some interesting movies in store. I'll probably keep my A-list for the time being.
Well, I think Movie Pass is out.
Okay, Movie Pass is out.
What's happening?
But the problem is, I looked into it. I have like an invitation to join. It's this weird thing. It's like there's different tiers, and each movie has like, it works on a credit system. So you get like 20 credits for like a month. Depending on the time of day and what theater you see it in is like a differing amount of credits. So they can't tell you like, oh, you can see 3 movies a week. It's like, well, we don't know. It depends what movies you go to. It just sounds like it's going to get messy.
But doesn't it also include like Cinematheque and like
It includes everything. The new Bev.
that's really cool.
That is like almost a selling point for me. But like, do you remember what happened with Movie Pass at the end of like 2019 or 2018? I forget when they died because I had it. The whole thing was like, you could see anything. You could see this many movies a week or a month or whatever. But then they started telling you what movies you couldn't see. So like if a movie was brand new, you had to wait like a month to see it and stuff. And that's horseshit. So I was like, I think I canceled it then. So I was like, they started limiting what you could see. So I'm just like afraid that they're going to do that again.
right.
So I like, even though I don't like AMC theaters, like they're reliable enough. I've never really had like an AV presentation issue at an AMC. And even though the crowd is like hit or miss, I feel like it's reliable. And it's
Definitely.
all in-house and it's cheap. $25 a month. Again,
It's pretty
we're
cheap.
not plugging AMC at all. But to see up to 3 movies a
We
week,
come to this place for magic.
and you can see IMAX, you can see 3D, not that I want to, but like you can see all those premium things and it counts as just the normal ticket.
That's great.
Because
Yeah.
a Movie Pass, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because like I have a ticket to Indiana Jones and I think I'm seeing it in IMAX. So
That's
like
cool.
you can't do that. And like Oppenheimer is going to be like 70 mil
God, that's like,
IMAX and stuff. So
It's actually going to be 70 mil at every AMC.
no, only certain ones. You have to look it up beforehand.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy.
I saw his last couple in 70 mil. I saw Dunkirk in 70 mil at the Vista in Los Feliz.
That's fun.
Yeah. But yeah. That sounds like 2023. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, like 6 months from now, 6 or 7 months when we do our best of 2023.
We'll see where all these movies fall.
Yeah.
Hopefully good for Barbie. I'm like
I
kinda
know.
nervous.
I'm rooting for Barbie. Yeah.
Of course, I'm always rooting for Barbie, but I'm also a little nervous, and I can't really explain why. I think it's just because she's never done something on this big a scale,
Yeah.
and I'm worried about what people are going to say. Like, I'll protect her, but like, I'm just scared.
They'd be like, yeah, I can already envision
You know what I mean?
the ammo
'Cause,
that
like,
people are going to have.
Everyone's going to see this movie. And she's like very much not, in my mind, like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's making the big Hollywood movie.
That's
you
what I'm
know?
saying. And it's scary for
Yeah.
someone who loves her so much. It's like, I don't doubt her. I'm not saying I'm scared because I doubt her. I'm just scared that like her sensibilities are so much better than what everyone wants to see. So like, it's going to be hard matching that with like the big crowd of everyone, like all moviegoers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like nerve-wracking.
I think the trailers look really, I don't know. I think she has it. I think she has it. We'll see.
So do I.
mean, sometimes you can't tell from a trailer. Oftentimes you can't, but.
And it didn't play anywhere, right? Like it didn't play like no one's seen it. There are no
I don't think
reviews
so.
or anything.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, we'll see it next month. That's for sure.
Whew.
Well, I think that wraps it up unless you have anything else to say about 2023.
That's it.
State of film.
And let's just hope that the Nicole Kidman ad keeps going.
I'm tired of it. I'm really tired.
Okay, I noticed something like 2 movies ago. Do you know that when it cuts to her from behind and it's Creed on the screen?
Yeah.
That's not her.
Oh, of course not.
It's a body double.
Yeah, of course.
Did you know that?
I didn't notice, but
Okay.
of course those shots aren't going to be her.
Next time you go, please look out for it. It's so funny. Like, it's so obviously not her.
It's the Creed section, right?
The Creed one,
okay.
yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's so funny. But then I heard that they were going to do a different one. Like, it was still going to be Nicole Kidman, but like, there's a new script and there's a new ad.
They should do
we'll
another. I'm
see.
so tired of this one. Do a new one. Yeah. Like it was fun and campy for a while, and now I'm just like tired of it. It's just a legitimately terrible ad.
It's not that terrible.
It's so bad.
No.
It's so bad.
Nice. I like it.
Oh god. And then the movies they have on the screen are just depressing as all fuck.
No.
Yeah. It's like Jurassic World
Jurassic
and stuff.
World,
La La Land.
Wonder Woman, Creed.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
What do you want on there?
I want her to be watching Casablanca.
Yeah. That would honestly be nice.
No, it would send the wrong message because people are like, why are they showing these boring black and white movies?
Yeah, but they do those fan favorites, AMC. That's how we saw Crouching Tiger.
Yeah, but again, it's like a movie from like the year 2000.
I think they were playing Casablanca. I'm not even lying.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They do.
They do. And of course, like when you go in the lobby of most AMCs, there's like this mural, and it's usually like Casablanca and then like
The one in
the Nutty
Burbank
Professor next to it. And like,
there's Cat on a Hot Tin Roof in Burbank.
oh, is there?
Yeah. I think there's Gone with the Wind too.
Talk about a problematic movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Sorry, just as a little end cap to our discussion on Disney cutting the French Connection. The French Connection gets cut, but Gone with the Wind gets a pass? Okay, sure.
Well, they took Gone with the Wind out for a while, remember? They removed it. Gone with the Wind was removed from, I think it's on HBO.
Oh, well, things come and go from...
No. It was removed, like, it was during the...
Oh, Black Lives Matter?
It was, yeah. And they removed it for a while. And then
okay.
they brought it back
I
with,
see.
like, a statement.
And again, I'm not saying that we should pull the film, but it is a problematic film. And I think the difference is you can kind of feel the filmmakers behind that sentiment in Gone with the Wind, whereas with the French Connection, like William Friedkin's not behind the camera being like, use those slurs. Like, it's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been a totally freeform episode.
It was fun.
Hopefully you found this entertaining in some way. We will be back next week to do our big episode on Showa. So, yeah, we're halfway through it right now, so we have the other half to watch and record that episode.
Yeah, and sorry for misleading you guys.
Yeah.
But it's just like one of those things. It's like as we were watching it, it made more sense. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I think if it was like a serial, like a cliffhanger thing, it was like, yeah, let's do half at a time. But it's like, this is so clearly one big work. That it then felt weird to like do it in 2 separate episodes. So yeah. Anyway, come back for Showa next week. Until then, I'm Greg.
I'm Jackie.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Hooray for Hollywood. That's gooey bally hooly Hollywood. Where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking pan.
Seen and Heard is an official podcast of the Arroyo Film Club, featuring Greg Kleinschmidt and Jacqueline Postagian. Theme music by Andrew Cox. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. If you have any questions, comments, or you just want to say hi, email us hello@seenandheardpod.com or visit our website, www.seenandheardpod.com.
Hooray for Hollywood.